we will certainly test you with some fear and hunger, and some loss of possessions and lives and crops. But give good news to the steadfast. O people! Eat of what is lawful and good on earth, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan. He is to you an open enemy. O you who believe! Eat of the good things we have provided for you, and give thanks to Allah, if it is Him that you serve. He has forbidden you carrion, and blood, and the flesh of swine, and what was dedicated to other than Allah. But if anyone is compelled, without desiring or exceeding, he commits no sin. Allah is forgiving and merciful. All food was permissible to the children of Israel, except what Israel forbade for itself before the Torah was revealed. Say, bring the Torah, and read it, if you are truthful. Whoever forges lies about Allah after that, these are the unjust. And I will mislead them, and I will entice them, and I will prompt them to slit the ears of cattle, and I will prompt them to alter the creation of Allah. Whoever takes Satan as a lord, instead of Allah, has surely suffered a profound loss. Prohibited for you are carrion, blood, the flesh of swine, and animals dedicated to other than Allah, also the flesh of animals strangled, killed violently, killed by a fall, gored to death, mangled by wild animals, except what you rescue, and animals sacrificed on altars, and the practice of drawing lots. For it is immoral. Today, those who disbelieve have despaired of your religion, so do not fear them, but fear me. Today I have perfected your religion for you, and have completed my favor upon you, and have approved Islam as a religion for you. But whoever is compelled by hunger, with no intent of wrongdoing, Allah is forgiving and merciful. They ask you what is permitted for them. Say, permitted for you are all good things, including what trained dogs and falcons catch for you. You train them according to what Allah has taught you. So eat from what they catch for you, and pronounce Allah's name over it. And fear Allah. Allah is swift in reckoning. Today all good things are made lawful for you. And the food of those given the scripture is lawful for you, and your food is lawful for them. So are chaste believing women, and chaste women from the people who were given the scripture before you, provided you give them their dowries, and take them in marriage, not in adultery, nor as mistresses. But whoever rejects faith, his work will be in vain, and in the hereafter he will be among the losers. O you who believe! Do not prohibit the good things Allah has permitted for you, and do not commit aggression. Allah does not love the aggressors. And eat of the lawful and good things Allah has provided for you, and be conscious of Allah, in whom you are believers. Those who believe and do righteous deeds will not be blamed for what they may have eaten, provided they obey, and believe, and do good deeds, then maintain piety and faith, then remain righteous and charitable. Allah loves the charitable. Permitted for you is the catch of sea, and its food, as sustenance for you and for travelers. But forbidden for you is the game of land while you are in pilgrim sanctity. And fear Allah, to whom you will be gathered. Then, when they disregarded what they were reminded of, we opened for them the gates of all things. Until, when they delighted in what they were given, we seized them suddenly, and at once, they were in despair. So eat of that over which the name of Allah was pronounced, if you indeed believe in His revelations. And why should you not eat of that over which the name of Allah is pronounced, when He has detailed for you what is prohibited for you, unless you are compelled by necessity? Many lead astray with their opinions, through lack of knowledge. Your Lord knows best the transgressors. And do not eat from that over which the name of Allah was not pronounced, for it is abomination. The devils inspire their followers to argue with you, but if you obey them, you would be polytheists. And they say, these animals and crops are restricted, none may eat them except those we permit, by their claims, and animals whose backs are forbidden, and animals over which they do not pronounce the name of Allah, fabricating lies against him. He will repay them for what they used to invent. And they say, what lies in the wombs of these animals is exclusively for our males, and prohibited to our wives. But if it is stillborn, they can share in it. He will surely punish them for their allegations. He is wise and knowing. It is he who produces gardens, both cultivated and wild, and date palms, and crops of diverse tastes, and olives and pomegranates, similar and dissimilar. Eat of its fruit when it yields, and give its due on the day of its harvest, and do not waste. He does not love the wasteful. Among the livestock are some for transportation, and some for clothing. Eat of what Allah has provided for you, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan. He is to you an outright enemy. 8 bears, 2 of the sheep, and 2 of the goats. Say, did he forbid the 2 males, or the 2 females, or what the wombs of the 2 females contain? Inform me with knowledge, if you are truthful. And 2 of the camels, and 2 of the cattle. Say, did he forbid the 2 males, or the 2 females, or what the wombs of the 2 females contain? Were you present when Allah enjoined this upon you? Who does greater wrong than he who invents lies and attributes them to Allah, in order to mislead people without knowledge? Allah does not guide the wicked people. Say, in what was revealed to me, I find nothing forbidden to a consumer who eats it, except carrion, or spilled blood, or the flesh of swine, because it is impure, or a sinful offering dedicated to other than Allah. But if someone is compelled by necessity, without being deliberate or malicious, your Lord is forgiving and merciful. For the Jews we forbade everything with claws. As of cattle and sheep, we forbade them their fat, except what adheres to their backs, or the entrails, or what is mixed with bone. This is how we penalized them for their iniquity. We are indeed truthful. Say, produce your witnesses who would testify that Allah has prohibited this. If they testify, do not testify with them. And do not follow the whims of those who deny our revelation, and those who do not believe in the hereafter, and those who equate others with their Lord. O children of Adam! Dress properly at every place of worship, and eat and drink, but do not be excessive. He does not love the excessive. Say, who forbade Allah's finery which he has produced for his servants, and the delights of livelihood? Say, they are for those who believe, in this present world, but exclusively theirs on the day of resurrection. We thus detail the revelations for people who know. Say, have you considered the sustenance Allah has sent down for you, some of which you made unlawful, and some lawful? Say, did Allah give you permission, or do you fabricate lies and attribute them to Allah? There is no moving creature on earth but its sustenance depends on Allah. And He knows where it lives and where it rests. Everything is in a clear book. Allah dispenses the provisions to whomever He wills, and restricts. And they delight in the worldly life, yet the worldly life, compared to the hereafter, is only enjoyment. The likeness of the garden promised to the righteous, rivers flowing beneath it, its food is perpetual, and so is its shade. Such is the sequel for those who guard against evil, but the sequel of the disbelievers is the fire. And in it we created livelihoods for you, and for those for whom you are not the providers. There is not a thing but with us are its stores, and we send it down only in precise measure. Allah has favored some of you over others in livelihood. Those who are favored would not give their properties to their servants, to the extent of making them partners in it. Will they then renounce Allah's blessings? And Allah has given you in your homes habitats for you, and has provided for you out of the hides of livestock portable homes for you, so you can use them when you travel, and when you camp, and from their wool, and fur, and hair, furnishings and comfort for a while. And Allah has made for you shade out of what He has created, and has given you resorts in the mountains, and has given you garments to protect you from the heat, and garments to protect you from your violence. Thus he completes his blessings upon you, so that you may submit. Eat of the lawful and good things Allah has provided for you, and be thankful for Allah's blessings, if it is Him that you serve. He has forbidden you carrion, and blood, and the flesh of swine, and anything consecrated to other than Allah. But if anyone is compelled by necessity, without being deliberate or malicious, then Allah is forgiving and merciful. And do not say a falsehood asserted by your tongues, this is lawful, and this is unlawful, in order to invent lies and attribute them to Allah. Those who invent lies and attribute them to Allah will not succeed. For those who are Jews, we have prohibited what we related to you before. We did not wrong them, but they used to wrong their own selves. Your Lord expands the provision for whomever He wills, and restricts it. He is fully informed, observant of His servants. And do not kill your children for fear of poverty. We provide for them, and for you. Killing them is a grave sin. And do not extend your glance towards what we have given some classes of them to enjoy, the splendor of the life of this world, that we may test them thereby. Your Lord's provision is better, and more lasting. We had given these enjoyments, and their ancestors, until time grew long upon them. Do they not see how we gradually reduce the land from its extremities? Are they then the victors? All that. Whoever venerates the sanctities of Allah, it is good for him with his Lord. All livestock are permitted to you, except what is recited to you. So stay away from the abomination of idols, and stay away from perjury. We have made the animal offerings emblems of Allah for you. In them is goodness for you. So pronounce Allah's name upon them as they line up. Then, when they have fallen on their sides, eat of them and feed the contented and the beggar. Thus we have subjected them to you, that you may be thankful. Neither their flesh, nor their blood, ever reaches Allah. What reaches Him is the righteousness from you. Thus He subdued them to you, that you may glorify Allah for guiding you. And give good news to the charitable. With it we produce for you gardens of palms and vines, yielding abundant fruit for you to eat. And a tree springing out of Mount Sinai, producing oil, and seasoning for those who eat. When she arrived, it was said, "Is your throne like this?" She said, "As if this is it." We were given knowledge before her, and we were submissive. Or, who originates the creation and then repeats it, and who gives you livelihood from the sky and the earth? Is there another God with Allah? Say, produce your evidence, if you are truthful. Those who had wished they were in his position the day before were saying, "Indeed, it is Allah who spreads the bounty to whomever He wills of His servants, and restricts it. Had Allah not been gracious to us, He would have caved in on us. No wonder the ungrateful never prosper. How many a creature there is that does not carry its provision. Allah provides for them, and for you. He is the hearer, the knowledgeable. Allah expands the provision for whomever He wills of His servants, and restricts it. Allah is cognizant of all things. Do they not see that Allah expands the provision for whomever He wills, or restricts it? Surely in this are signs for people who believe. Say, my Lord extends the provision to whomever He wills of His servants, or withholds it. Anything you spend, He will replace it. He is the best of providers. And we subdued them for them. Some they ride, and some they eat. Do they not know that Allah extends the provision to whomever He wills, and constricts it? In that are signs for people who believe. Allah is He who created the domestic animals for you, some for you to ride, and some you eat. If Allah were to increase the provision to His servants, they would transgress on earth, but He sends down in precise measure whatever He wills. Surely, regarding his servants, he is expert and observant. And those who respond to their Lord, and pray regularly, and conduct their affairs by mutual consultation, and give of what we have provided them. Is it they who allocate the mercy of your Lord? It is we who have allocated their livelihood in this life, and we elevated some of them in rank above others, that some of them would take others in service. But your Lord's mercy is better than what they amass. And that it is He who enriches and impoverishes, and will provide for him from where he never expected. Whoever relies on Allah, He will suffice him. Allah will accomplish His purpose. Allah has set a measure to all things.